Airial, if I could marry her brain, it would be amazing.
If you need anything technical.
She is down to earth. She's fun. She's very easy to network with.
Anything systems oriented.
Just anything web dev techie that I don't understand, Airial has swooped in and fixed. And she's my accountability bulldog.
She is a queen.
Anything infrastructure related.
She is helpful, and she helps guide and answer all your questions that you have about growing your business and networking and getting started.
She gives me life. She just gives me life.
Airial Reynal is your girl. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast with your host, Airial Reynal.
I just want to marry her brain. She's a genius.
What is up, and welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast. I am your co-host, Scott Doucett, and I am here with the glorious, the magnificent, the wonderful Airial Reynal, our host. How you doing, Airial?
Good, Scott. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm lying. I don't know how to put it other than I'm a little PO'd right now, pissed off, because I keep falling into the same kind of situations with clients and prospective clients. And I honestly think that it's, I'm not going to sit here and blame my clients. I think it's my fault. I don't think I was specific enough about the type of people that I wanted to work with. And I know everyone harps, ideal client. But since I've got into business, I've been like, whatever. What is an avatar? Who cares?
Yeah. You know what? My coach, Cassie Howard, she calls them soulmate clients. And I see why. Because when you find them, you're like, oh my God, you're my better half.
Well, yeah. And keep in mind, I came from a place where I started off desperate. I would work with anyone who would throw money at me. That was hell. And then as I moved up through and started getting pickier because I could afford to get pickier, I started figuring out deal breakers and things I just wouldn't tolerate, things like disrespect, things like name calling, because that has happened to me early on.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had people popping into my inbox calling me a slave driver, calling me a nag, saying all kinds of things.
What?
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't even your team.
Called me a chicken shit, this is from a client. All kinds of stuff, and just because I was, hitting them up, hey, your files are late. Hey, your files are late. Hey, your files are late. I got called all kinds of names because they just weren't taking responsibility for their side of the, arrangement. And so as I started getting pickier, I started finding deal breakers. But as I...
Wait a minute. Let me back up. So are you trying to get a free coaching session right now?
Yes. I think I've put in enough work. and I think the audience would benefit from this.
You were trying to slip that in there. See, you thought you were slick.
No, I know I'm slick. I also know that was clumsy as hell.
I'm like, wait a minute.
But I'm just...
My opinion, he's just pretty much going off on a rant. And then
I'm just thinking about it. If I had known my deal breakers early on, I could have saved myself 2 or 3 years of stress. And so I kind of want your opinion on how important is it to know who your ideal client is, and maybe who is yours? If you could map maybe out who your ideal client is for me, it might give me some ideas on just things that I would want to put in place for the people that I work with in the future,
And you know what? It's been a process for me. I'm not going to lie. And also the fact that I have several different brands. Each brand has a different ideal client, even though my overarching ideal client fits in all of them.
So do you have this written out somewhere?
Yes, I do now. So I guess the biggest thing is the target markets are different, and then, how the brand represents and who it attracts. But my ideal client fits in all of them, from the veteran woman to TrepTECH to Rebel Revolution.
Okay, so let me clarify just so I'm not confused. So what you're saying is the transformation these people are looking for differs, but they're the same type of, they behave the same way, they have the same values, or, behavior, or treatment of other people. You're looking for a certain set of qualities.
Right.
In the client, right?
right? They have certain qualities
Okay.
and their pain points are the same.
Oh, okay.
So my target market, target market is like a bigger aspect than that ideal customer, or I'm gonna say soulmate client. So my target market ranges from men and women, veterans and non-veterans. My soulmate client is a woman veteran. And I would say that from the beginning, I was like, she's a veteran woman and blah, 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 blah. But the longer I've been doing this, the more in depth and more detail I can get about her. And then about 2 years ago, I met one young lady that we were working together, and I was like, you're my ideal client. It was only one thing that was different with her business. And then about 1 year ago, I started working with someone. She did a 4-hour intensive with me. And I'm like, oh my God, you are my ideal client. You are my soulmate client. And she really is. She's a woman veteran. She's moving into coaching. She's had a craft where she makes like soaps and lotions and natural products and stuff. So she had that business and that experience. And now she's moving into coaching. And she wants to work with women veterans who are transitioning. So she's going into coaching, and it's like a learning curve for her because she's like, whoa, this is completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I love her. And then her personality matches mine. It's like the opposite of mine where it needs to be, and it matches mine where it needs to. So it's a perfect arrangement and relationship, to the point that I actually asked her, I told her I wanted to work with her over a year. And so if anybody heard about my 12-month mentorship, right now for the first go round, it's about 5 people, and they're my soulmate client.
Okay. So you only offer this up to people that you're like really fired up to work with. It's not just whoever brings the money.
Right. Because right now it's no investment for them. It's pro bono.
Okay. That's cool.
But they've invested in me before. And because of certain qualities and personalities and how they balance me out, and because I know when I talk to them and tell them something, if they don't like it, if it doesn't feel right, they're going to be like, no, Airial, I don't like that. We're going to have to keep working. Or no, this direction or the way you're saying this, I've done that a million times, like ideal client, and it hasn't worked for me. So I'm like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board and see how to make an approach that works for you.
Okay.
So it's a symbiotic relationship, mutually beneficial.
I'm kind of curious then, like, it sounds like you just started working with people, like at first you weren't really clear. You worked with like quite a few different clients, much like I did. But as you started working with people you liked, you took...
Not a true statement.
No?
Love.
Okay, sorry. People you loved, yeah. So as you started working with people you loved, you started picking out the positive qualities that you wanted to see in everyone you worked with?
Pretty much. Because once I was able to pinpoint it and articulate it, I'm like, this is what I love about this person. Like, for instance, I love when somebody shows up. So they do the homework. They're like, give me the worksheet and I'm going to do the homework. And then have the homework done and within 2 hours of you sending it to me, even though I had a 2-week deadline. And the person that I know that they're going to reach out if they need anything. I don't have to micromanage on, hey, are you going to schedule a call? Hey, you're going to do this. I know if she needs something, she's going to email me. If she's working on something, she gets stuck, she's going to email me. And then when we have our calls, she'll either say what she needs to talk about. Like if we're working with one client, we're working on value ladder and sales funnels, but she's had a rough time in her life. So she's like, okay, I don't want to talk about sales funnels today. Let me tell y'all what crap that's been going on in my life. And I'm like, that's fine. We can talk about that. And then she'll ask me how I'm doing. And then it becomes like, girl, let me tell you so. But I love it. So the soulmate clients really do exist. And that's the only people I will work with now. Because at first, like you said, I will work with any and everybody. because I wanted to serve and help everybody. But if we don't jive perfectly, it's just going to burn you out. It's going to burn both of us out, and then we'll be resentful and we'll end up hating each other.
True story. So like the way my business works is that we have it goes through a team, right? People get us their audio for their podcast. It goes through my producer, then it goes through my writer, then it comes to me, and then I put the bow on it, put it up, and do all that stuff, right? So there's definitely like a 3-day turnaround minimum for what we do. And like people will have a file due on Friday and get it to me Wednesday. And I'm like, no, this can't happen. So like I've got things that I want to put in place for that, like contracts and late fees and all kinds of craziness, you know, like service level agreements so that everyone knows what page we're on. But like in order to do that, I guess I need to figure out who I want to work with and who do I want to be on the same page with.
Well, you're at a good start because you know what's been pissing you off. So write that down. So with the turnaround times, it's been pissing you off because people have been getting them only a day or two out from when they're supposed to publish. Figure out how much, so this goes into a little bit of pricing too. Figure out how much extra work that's costing you, like extra man hours or rigor or whatever you want to call it. And then if you said your turnaround is 3 days?
Yeah, give or take.
So determine where that give or take is and make it a penalty if they turn it in late. So either you'll get compensated for the expedited service and or they'll learn to turn it in on time.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now is the people that I want to attract in the future, I want them to already understand how this business works. But the people I have right now, I don't want to lose them, right? So I kind of have to train them into the new set of parameters that I'd like them to follow.
But we've been talking about this for a couple of years, Scott.
I know.
I know you're like, okay, I'll let it pass. Maybe give them one exception. Or if they have a good reason for why they didn't get it in on time. Because you don't want them to get used to turning things in late. And that becomes the new standard because they know that you're going to accept it.
Well, yeah, because
you have to put your foot down.
Some people, they have the best of intentions, right? They'll batch record like 4 episodes or 6 episodes, but then they'll wait until they run dry to get me more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the issue is like, it's great when we have a bunch. Like, I guess my ideal client, if I had to map him or her out.
Real quick, before I forget, because you know my memory goes.
Yeah.
So how about when you, as a part of your onboarding process, so you really caught me off guard. So I'm like trying to find my words today. Anyways, as a part of your onboarding, why don't you do like a video and or audio and like some training that says, this is the turnaround. I'm going to introduce you to the team. This is why the turnaround is like this. How to batch record and get ahead and not fall behind. You know, that kind of stuff. So when they do the onboarding, they're like, okay, I get it. And that's a part of the agreement. So you're like training them to be a client.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As soon as they hire you, before you do any work.
I like that idea too,
like,
because it humanizes my team.
Yes. And I would say do it in video or audio, probably video, and then you can repurpose it into audio. You can strip the audio out and have both. But that's so that people aren't just reading and skipping over stuff. They actually hear what you're saying and they get to see the team and all that good stuff.
Yeah, actually.
And see the work that's actually going into what you do.
No, that's cool. I like that because it also humanizes my team and allows people to understand that these are actual people. They have lives, they have families. You know, they can't drop everything to work your episode on a Sunday night at 9 p.m., you know? So I guess like my ideal client, the part that tripped me up, honestly, is the demographic. Because you know me, I'll work with male or female. I'll work with any age group. I'll work with a huge range of topics and subject matters. I'll work with all that stuff. So I always had a hard time kind of narrowing it in. But this whole qualitative side of it, I want someone who gets their stuff to me at least 3 weeks like ahead of time so that we can actually plan and they have time to plan their promoting. So like bottom line is my ideal client is someone who runs a business and wants a podcast. They already have a product that they can sell or a service. So there's money right away for them. They're not waiting on an ROI. They're willing to get me stuff ahead and keep me ahead, keep my team ahead at least 3 weeks. They can afford my rates without breaking the bank, without having to be like, hey, can I get you next month, or can I pay you, this week or that week, or things came up. I understand things happen, but I don't want it to be a regular occurrence. I don't like chasing people. And it's not going to break their bank account. They can invest comfortably.
Right.
And then people who understand the value of what we do, they love what we do, they get results for what they do. They're willing to promote it. They're willing to take ownership when they don't do something the way they're supposed to. And people who are willing to openly communicate back and forth with me about what they want, what's not going right, what ththey'd like to improve, all that stuff. So, I mean, that gives me, I guess, the terms that I need to put in place. Like, that gives me an actual person because I'm thinking about a person who fits that model perfectly.
Me.
I was going to say, she's already got episodes 4 months ahead. We've never had an issue with payment. We have, always respectful, always laid back, gives us creative freedom, but is willing to tell us when something doesn't sound quite right. Like, we have that client. We already know who she is. So I guess just look for more people like her and set that as our standard.
And that's what I do. That's what I do with mine. I'm like, this person is perfect. Okay, what is it about her? Let me reverse engineer. What is it about her personality, her work ethic, all of that stuff? What are her pain points? I actually did like a personality assessment to figure things out. And I'm like, you are my ideal client. So I'm going to write her up, and anything that she talks about, I use that to create that character sketch. And, I just wanted to brag about how on the Veteran Woman podcast, I had a whole season worth recorded in like 2 months.
You literally called me and you were like, hey, do you want to produce another season of The Veteran Woman? And I was like, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Just get me the files. And the next thing that followed was a Google Drive link with a year's worth of stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
You had it all recorded before you even asked if we wanted to do it.
That was the first time I batch recorded. And I'm so glad I did, because of how 2018 went. My life was up in shambles. So I didn't have to worry about the podcast, and I didn't have to worry about interviewing and stuff. It still happened. And I'm like, thank God.
And we're grateful too, because our 2018 went no better. I had to emergency move. I had a baby. I bought a house. I ended up my rental agreement expired on Scotland's due date, so we had all kinds of madness going on, but we didn't have to worry about you. I had other clients who were yelling at me during that time period because they got me their stuff late, and it was coming back it wasn't coming back ugly, but it was definitely coming back rushed.
Oh, you know what? You may need to sick me on them.
And it was,
because I'll say, you know what? Look, he told you already that he needed a 3-day turnaround. Why are you bitching and complaining, knowing that he needs this time? Who do you think you are?
Yeah. And that's the part that just, it amazes me. So now I think as I'm looking, I'm starting to set down my ground rules, because it's not just for me. For some reason, when it was just me in the business, I was like, oh, I can take it. I got broad shoulders. I can take it.
And then you get burned out.
Nothing you say can hurt me. I can take it. But now I'm protecting people I care about, my team. My producer has his in-laws coming this Monday. And when he gets back on Wednesday, he's going to have to work double time because people aren't delivering files on time. I don't feel good about that. If people had their files to us way ahead of time, he'd come back and slip into a regular work day. But instead, he's coming back Wednesday and he's got to get Friday's stuff done, I
think you really need to push batch recording.
Yeah, I think so. And that's just the biggest thing. So this whole ideal client thing is nice because I get to say my ideal client gets us stuff way ahead of time, can pay without worry because they know they've got the money and they know they're in good hands, and gives us creative freedom, but is really open to discuss what they want and don't want in a show. Those
not
are
an ass.
Yeah, not an asshole. Although for the right reason, I'll accept that, but it's got to be the right reason. It's got to be something I really did wrong and I'm not willing to fix.
Oh, yeah, of course. And you know what? And the whole ideal client thing had turned me off. And I was like, okay, I'm struggling with it, so I know other people are probably struggling with it. And we hear that so much, but I know and understand the importance of it. So I watch Law and Order a lot, all of them. And I was looking and saying, okay, through what Law and Order SVU has been out a million years.
Holy
And
crap.
I can, and with Olivia Benson, I can tell like what she's going to say, what's going to tick her off, what's going to piss me off that she does. If she's going to say, no. I mean, all of this stuff, I can tell you how Olivia would act. What will Olivia Benson do? And then I was like, you know what? That's what I need to think about my ideal client. In this moment, what is she feeling? What is she thinking? If this happened, how would she react? And so when I decided to do a character sketch and look at it that way in a creative way, because that's something they do in screenwriting and theater and stuff, I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And it flowed beautifully.
So I have an idea. Riddle me this, Batman. And everyone can use this in their own businesses if they think it'll work. I know what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm going to vet my clients who I take on very well. I'm only taking on one a month this year.
Allow them to self-identify. So in your copy or whatever, say what you want.
Oh,
so
right on the call.
That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Or that's not me.
Because remember, I don't have like landing pages and sales pages and all that for my production clients. They all come by referral and word of mouth. So on the call, I'm going to tell them, like, are you this kind of person? Can you do this? Will you do that? Like, I'll vet them. And at the end of the call, I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. I can't work with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that they understand right away that these are my expectations. So it's not all about them, because that's what my sales calls right now are all about them. All about them.
That's what they're supposed to be. But know your boundaries.
Yeah, I was going to say the issue is I don't ever communicate what I expect from the relationship. And I think that part needs to be added in.
Yes.
And then I think for my current clients, I haven't done it yet, but I think I'm going to ask them all permission to add them to a mailing list of just like my production clients.
Mm-hmm.
They're my VIP people. We do everything for them and it's awesome. I love it. And I'm going to add them to a mailing list and say, like, send them updates, send them really cool things I learned so that it's worth it for them to be on this list. But then send out the terms and conditions and say, like, this is what we expect moving forward. If you can't adhere to that, this is fine. We'll recommend you to another production team.
Right. Or we'll charge you an additional fee for expedited service.
Yeah. And this is
and
the way
make it a pretty hefty investment so that it.
Oh, I'll double the episode cost.
Yeah. Or it'll be worth your time.
You know, I'll double the episode cost or something to that effect so that my team knows if they're going to work a weekend, they're going to get paid hefty for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because I promise them when they come in the door to work for me, you will never have to work a weekend. And I have gone back on that promise a couple of times because of late files. And I want to stop doing that because I think having a business filled with my ideal clients would give me more time to offer great service to people that I love, make me more excited to work with these people. But also my team will be more excited to come to work because they're not dealing with like unnecessary BS that, you know, we all understand deadlines. We know that getting this stuff done ahead of time is good, but human nature is to procrastinate.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that someone else's procrastination means my team has to work over on Christmas Eve or something to that effect. I'm not okay with that. So, you know, I feel like just getting my current clients to an ideal place and making sure that all my new clients are my ideal clients would, honestly, I think it would make the difference between me being annoyed with my business or unhappy with my business sometimes and just really loving it every day.
I was about to say, it'll help your morale. And once you feel better, you'll be able to be in flow and it'll show it, that energy, that new energy, positive energy, good energy will exude throughout your team, throughout your clients, your home life, all of that, because that's how it's changed for me. So now if I meet somebody and they're against my values, or if they're just not right for me, I'll say, no, hun, but check out this person or that person or whatnot, or another type of one of my programs. So they may not be a good fit for one-on-one because that takes a lot of energy when I'm coaching someone one-on-one. So maybe they're better for like the TrepTECH Academy where they can do it themselves, or maybe a group program because they mesh good with group members.
Yeah, if someone needs the extra accountability or whatever, it doesn't land on you to chase them around. The group can take care of it too, so
Right.
that they have extra support. Yeah, I think it all comes down to how people learn. It's just the way I look at it is if it's a done for you service, the more you do for us, the better it'll be done for you. And that's kind of what I want to get people to, is understanding that if we have 3 weeks to work on a file, it's going to sound so much nicer than if you give us 3 days.
Right. Or 3 hours.
Or 3 hours. Like audio production's an art. It's a finesse thing. Like it's all about finesse. And if we don't have time to finesse it, it's going to sound like an amateur did it. So having that time is really important. And
well, you have your email list.
mm-hmm.
So why don't you do a email totally about like who your ideal client is, or soulmate client, or whatever you want to call it?
I like to write sales emails on Friday, so I think I'll make that one of my Friday emails.
Mm-hmm. For instance, I did a post the other day when I was doing my scholarship for the 12-month mentorship, and this just flowed. And I was like, this is who my ideal client is. So it said, is it you I'm looking for? And now I repurposed it and put it on my Work with Airial page. So it says, is it you I'm looking for? My soulmate clients are rebels with a purpose. They feel out of place when trying to fit in. They have a strong desire to be of service to others and the desire to make money while doing just that. They're sick of cliches like be humble. They are ambitious, motivated, and just need direction and accountability. Like someone who can dish out an ass kicking when need be. And that someone's me. They want someone who gets them and doesn't judge. They want someone who will stretch them out of their comfort zone, but also someone who understands when other factors come into play and can balance that coaching out. They want someone they can reach out to when shit hits the fan. And it's not always about business. Sometimes personal life just takes control. Life happens. They aren't able to tell where their personal life ends and their business begins. Their business is their life. They feel that their business has saved their life. It is the one thing that keeps them going. They have been playing small and are absolutely tired of it. They know that they are sitting on a gold mine and they just need help tapping into it. They feel overwhelmed, trying to piece all this stuff and information together about business. And they hate, truthfully, they hate the business side of things, but they love what they do. They invest their own money into their business. They can't fathom the thought of selling their business. It's a lifelong passion and commitment to them. Sometimes they want to throw in the towel and they just need somebody to remind them why they shouldn't. They are sick of being busy doing nothing and ready to see progression. They are perfectionists and realize their desire to have everything perfect is the thing that is keeping them from starting, stepping out on faith, and launching the damn thing already. They have so many thoughts in their head and are not sure how to take action on them. They followed so many people and purchased so many courses and programs that their brain is just getting drowned out by all of the noise. They need help figuring out how to put 2 and 2 together. So all that stuff that they bought, all the coaches that they followed and everything, they need to figure out how to put it together to move forward. They want someone who understands the tech and can teach it to them, but can also handle it for them so it's one less thing for them to worry about and distract them. They have been through some shit, and that shit has driven them to what they do now. They enjoy the freedom and flexibility of being an entrepreneur. They even secretly enjoy the stressful ups and downs because they like a challenge. They thrive when working with a variety of ideas and creative opportunities. They are looking to increase confidence and self-esteem because at some point in their life, someone told them they weren't good enough. They couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, or they were dreaming too big. They feel like there are so many people already doing what they want to and are doing and need someone to help them figure out how to set themselves apart. They are ready to be themselves unapologetically. They have been planning, and know it's time now to jump into action. They sometimes get stressed with multitasking and the networking involved in running a business, but they know it's important. They have a difficult time selling themselves and being aggressive. They get stuck in that analysis paralysis mode and have difficulty making decisions. They work well under pressure and use that as an excuse for procrastinating, but also want to figure out how to lift that procrastination spirit. They take rejection and failure to heart, which tends to hold them back from doing anything new or putting themselves out there. They are visionaries, and having to pay attention to too many details can be frustrating and stressful. They are looking to balance their strengths and weaknesses and fuel their success. They are looking to understand themselves better so they can get out of their own damn way. They find their relief by letting out all their frustrations. And from time to time, they just need an emotional outlet that feels safe and non-judgmental. They are sick of people telling them what they can't do and want people in their corner that will help them figure out how to do it, instead of saying things like, your idea is weird, that'll never work, let's go the traditional route. They throw up when they see people who always got it together and think to themselves, where are the real people who go through real shit but are still slaying it? They are eclectic. They are known to cuss, meditate, and pray. They have petty moments and occasional pity parties and are sick of being judged because of it. Their playlist may include Nuck If You Buck or Take Me to the King. They want to be liberated from the status quo. They only want to work with clients they love and who love them. They want people to just come to them. They don't want to hustle until their balls fall off. They want to learn how to just go with the flow. They know they should be making more money, but just cannot figure out or shake what's holding them back. They are ready to silence that little voice that keeps whispering, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not ready. Who are you to? Who do you think you are? It's not perfect yet. You'll be laughed at. You'll lose friends. Nobody's going to listen to you. You call yourself an expert? Your ministry shouldn't charge people. Be humble. Don't be an open target. You're selfish. You're crazy. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're not successful enough yet. You're not even sure who you are anymore because you've been being how everyone else says you should be. You see ratchet posts, laugh, and wonder who could you share them with without being judged or frowned upon. You want to have fun in your business and not have to be so damn serious all the damn time. You hate when people tell you you got to pick one, and you wish someone would just teach you how to do it all or combine it all successfully. You hate people who view you as just a number or another paycheck. You want someone who truly gives a damn about you. You're tired of being ashamed of your struggle and need an outlet to process it so you can move forward. You tend to make decisions based on your values or the needs of people, what feels right. You're very intuitive. You're ready to leave all of the excuses behind, walk in your purpose, and be intensely prosperous. If this sounds like you, I would absolutely love to work with you.
Oh, snap. Okay. So it's funny because I was thinking as you were reading that, I was able to literally go, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's not. That doesn't really apply to me. I'm sometimes like that. That's me. And it was humorous and it was good. And I feel like anyone who read that, if it was them, when they got to the end of it, they would know it was them.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to read all of it, but when I started reading it, I got inspired. I was like, yes. So I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to read all of it.
You're like, this is me. This is me. I identify with this.
And when I posted that, a couple of people hit my inbox and they said, oh my God, you described me perfectly.
Wow. So that simple. And then you knew right from that moment that those people are your ideal clients because they self-identified all the way down. So they vetted themselves.
Right. And that makes it so much easier.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to write that email. Maybe not as long, but
I know. I told you I was in flow that day and it was inspiring, just like how I read all of it just now, like it was a poem. But I was so inspired. I was like, damn, yes. And I was thinking about the clients that I have who fit all of those descriptions and how it looks to them.
Like my jaw is just an inch off the floor right now. Like my mouth is agape. I love that. Like I never thought of being like, who are you as a person? Or this is who I'm looking for, you know, like I've never thought to actually go out and do that. And I think that's an exercise I'm going to do actually later on today, or maybe tomorrow, is craft an email for my ideal client and then just send it out to my list.
And if you need help figuring that out, because I know some people just like to do a brain dump and just talk. If you like to do that, we can do that as well, you know, offline, to build that profile for you so you can send it out for email.
Yeah,
one that's compelling. So people are like, yes, that's me.
I love it. And why am I not surprised that that's something you offer? I love it. Well, you know, I appreciate it. I think I've gotten everything I need to kind of get down there and figure out who my ideal client is as a person, not just how old they are or where they're from or, you know, like what are their interests or hobbies. Like I'm more interested in like, what are your qualities? What are your values? What are you willing to do to make this thing work? So
what are the pain points is a big one. Like what keeps them up at night? What frustrates them? And how you can alleviate that pain.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for the free coaching, Airial.
All righty. Thank you for putting me on a spot, I guess.
This magic came out of it. And if you are interested in working with Airial to figure out who your ideal client is so that you can stop having awful business experiences and start working with people that you really excited to call, to work with, to do the homework for, to hit deadlines for, who thrills you to serve, take her up on her offer, reach out and map out who your ideal client is. That's it for us this week. You know full well I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be hitting up Airial as soon as we hit stop on this recording. So much love, much respect. Airial, thank you so much for all of your help on this.
You are more than welcome. Anytime, Scott.
Catch y'all next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the TrepTECH Podcast. But if you like what you heard, go on to Apple Podcast and bring her a 5-star review. And also, if you want to check out her service while she transforms mindsets, navigating entrepreneurship, leveraging technology, building relationships while bridging the gap in your business, check out TrepTECHacademy.com. That's TrepTECHacademy.com.